is always looking for good non-meat eats, please welcome your host, Russell Edmond.
Hello, and thank you for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels, live hospitality talk show. As you can see, we have a guest here, Mr. Lonny Wolfe. We're going to get into it with him in a minute. He's muted at the moment, right? But believe me, he's on fire and he's ready to go, okay? So, but I let him know before the show. I said I have just a couple things to go over before I introduce him. But as you can see, I do have a guest, Mr. Lonny Wolfe. He's to my right. I'm not sure how he appears on your screen, but he's on my right side. So, and you can see down at the bottom, Mr. Lonny Wolfe, it says The Art of Housekeeping, and it's show number 180. So thank you guys so much. I didn't ever in my wildest dreams think that I would do a podcast, nor would I think I would get to 180 shows. So I do appreciate you guys for supporting me over the last 3 years and 180 shows later. So I do appreciate that. This is a show that welcomes comments, so please feel free to make your comments. We're all about interaction here on air with Russell of Hotels. We are live both on YouTube and LinkedIn. Okay, so just so you know that it's called Restream. So Restream allows you to broadcast simultaneously to multiple platforms. So just in case you were doing a similar show, I just gave you some information, right? Just gave you a little game there. So, but no, I appreciate everyone joining in. Okay, so first and foremost, I had to thank some people, and instead of my industry news that I normally do, I need to congratulate some people first. I'm sorry. See, it's a good thing that I have this button here that is push, and then automatically it tells me who I'm supposed to congratulate. So congratulating two people. One, Miss Rona Simmons. She's a new senior sales exec, with the Renaissance Esmeralda and Resort and Spa in Indian Wells, California. So that's out in the Palm Springs area, the greater Palm Springs area. Let me say that one more time. Miss Rona Simmons, senior sales exec at the Renaissance Esmeralda Resort and Spa. Okay, so she just took over that position within the last week or so. She was formerly at the Hilton, and I want to say that was in the DoubleTree by Hilton. I want to say that was in Cathedral City. That's where she was previously, but now she's at the Renaissance. She's handling that affinity market. For people that don't know, that's a Marriott term, affinity. That's the old Smurf, okay? We call it Smurf. SMERF, social, military, educational, religious, fraternal. That's that market. So, but Marriott, they come up with their own terms for everything. So it's the affinity market. But regardless, if you have any needs out in the desert, Miss Rona Simmons is your girl. And then last but certainly not least, Miss Lorraine L. Boogie Chapman. I throw the L Boogie in there because that's what I call her. So, but no, she's the new director of tourism at Go CVB. What does Go CVB stand for, you may ask? Go CVB stands for Greater Ontario Convention and Visitors Bureau. So she's now the director of tourism. This is actually her second go around with the Go CVB. So, but we welcome her back there. We appreciate them for both telling me this, because that's one thing to move on, but it's another thing to tell people that have followed you, people that maybe were past clients or friends or colleagues or whatever. You need to make sure you share the information. When you do move on and transition from one hotel to another, just let people know that you have moved, because that's one of the worst things to do, is that for someone to call that your last hotel and look for you and they didn't know that you had left, right? So I do appreciate both Rona and Lorraine for letting me know. So once again, congratulations to them. Much success, continued success to them. And then one more I want to thank, and this just literally just happened. And Lonnie, hold tight. You're still there. This literally just happened right before the show. Okay, so I stayed at the Holiday Inn Express in Blythe, California. Okay, so you guys know I was there for my class reunion and homecoming 2 weeks ago. Okay, so we stayed at the Holiday Inn Express, and then you get once you check out, you get the guest survey, that kind of thing you fill out. A lot of people don't even do it, but I always make it a point to do that. And then I get a letter or an email from Mr. Manny Baines. I assume he's the general manager or someone that's in charge of that particular hotel. He sent me an email directly, thanking me for the comments that I made about the hotel, which were spot on. We had a great stay there, great experience. The guest service was off the chart. They were cleaning, and one thing that and Lonnie will appreciate this, visually cleaning. Okay, so I'm sitting in the lobby having some conversations with some people. You can see people cleaning, they're sanitizing, they're doing all these things in the guest site, which that's what we want. We want to see people cleaning because people think this whole COVID thing is over. It's not over, and it's good. It's refreshing to see you go to a hotel and you see people actively cleaning, spraying, disinfecting, all that kind of stuff. So I do appreciate that, and I let Manny know that right in the comments, and then he basically sent me an email thanking me for the comments. But you know what, Manny, you don't have to thank me. I mean, thank your staff. I do appreciate everything you do. I recommend that hotel now. If you're ever going through Blythe or you need to go to Blythe for whatever reason that is, stay at the Holiday Inn Express. Okay, it's right there on Lufkin Boulevard. Just make a right off of Lufkin Boulevard. That would be south of the freeway, and that's the 10 freeway. Okay, so thank you again, Manny. I do appreciate you reaching out and just you're just reaching out and just letting me know that you appreciate the comments, and I appreciate all the hard work. So thank you so much. Without further ado, let me read something about Lonnie first before we bring him off, before we get him off the mic or get him off of mute. And this is I'm going to paraphrase this because Lonnie sends like a whole novel, and I'm like, well, what am I supposed to use out of this, Lonnie? I mean, so I'm going to paraphrase this. Okay, so he was a hotel GM and a consultant for the art of housekeeping. Okay, to include 25. He's one of the 25 most inspirational executives in travel for hospitality. 2021, originally from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and now he resides in a small coastal town called Ocean Ridge, Florida, which is where he is right now. He's a citizen of the world, from one hotel to another, making an impact and a difference. He's held many titles over the years. He's been an owner of a cleaning company for 24 years, export agent, mainland China. He's been a construction owner, developer for 24 years, and owner of a nail printing technology for nail care industry within the state of Florida. That's something I did not know about, Lonnie. So, wow. He loves to share his passion for the hospitality industry, specifically on LinkedIn. I mean, that's how I found Lonnie, okay? We found each other on LinkedIn, and we both automatically knew we both had a passion for what we did, and that's, housekeeping, that's hospitality as a whole. I used to be in housekeeping before I started my career there, and I always mention that. And Lonnie, he saw that, heard that, and we've been talking ever since. He's been on the show. This is the second time being on the show. He constantly is on this show making comments and adding to the subject matter. So I do appreciate him for that. And what else? Loves to share his passion for the hospitality industry. On LinkedIn, I just mentioned that. Learn from my decades of experience, the art of housekeeping, redefining the standard of housekeeping success, one hotel at a time. Without further ado, let me just bring on Mr. Lonny Wolfe. Are you there, Lonnie? Are you there?
I am here, Russell. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Yeah, I hear you fine.
I'm good.
You're a little glitchy. But as I mentioned earlier, and I mentioned to the audience as well, just to keep talking, regardless of what happens, just keep talking.
Well, I want to first congratulate you on show number 180, and for you to reach show 180 and do it every Tuesday live. You've been doing this for 3.5 years, so I have something I would like to. All my hospitality friends would like to salute you for 108 shows, my friend. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yep,
I
we're going to
appreciate
talk
that.
about housekeeping, the first thing, attention. What I love about Russell of Hotels, for Russell is the real deal, and he knows housekeeping because he's brought up housekeeping on many occasions. As an example, he'd be walking into a hotel, and if he's working at the hotel, as he said, what's pissed him off more than anything is everybody and sitting outside spilling or sitting there on the lobby before entry, and no one picks it up because the mindset is, hey, that's not my job. I don't work in housekeeping. And Russell hit it right on the nose that day. It's not correct. It's everyone's job. We work in the environment, we pick up, we put it in the trash, and we get to our that we're there. We wear all hats within the environment. What I've learned in my, owning a cleaning company for 24 years and then getting into health space is most general managers do not understand housekeeping, let alone spend a week without the suit jacket, without the clean and really get down to business. And it's unbelievable, as my good friend and Russell's good friend Scott Eddy has said on many occasions. There's so many dinosaurs in the business, and there's still many of them still there, making a big salary, showing up late, leaving early, and not thanking their team. So I take it to a whole other level, 24/7, 365. I dream it. I believe in it, and my goal is for every property to be the number one in the surrounding area.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, no, I'm still here. I'm just there's a delay. There is a delay, just so you know. So I'm giving you time to go on to the next subject. But I understand you were in, was it in Atlanta? You were working with a hotel in Atlanta for like 2 months. Are you there?
And in the last month, I've gone over. Yeah, I'm here. Good. Is it? We good? I've been in Atlanta for a month, and I've been in the last 3 months. I have gone and seen over 800 rooms from Atlanta to Buffalo to other locations within the United States, and these are all brand properties. And I cannot begin to tell you how filthy they were. Stepped in, the presentation when you pulled up, the presentation when you walked in, the presentation of the lift, the corridors entering the suite. All 800 rooms were viciously filthy. And the thing is the training and communication and how they were rolling and operating was way, way, way below standards. I don't need to hear about COVID this and COVID that. It should have never got to that point to begin with. When I was in Buffalo and I was there after day 2 because of the problems with mold in the environment and the property, I had to come back and go to 4 different medicines, and there was a puffer for asthma, and I have to kid around with since I got mold in my lungs. It's unbelievable that brand properties that are run by third asset management companies are not making visibility, as you said in the beginning, visibility of seeing something or reading the reviews to see that they're nasty, they're terrible. When guest right should be closed down. Is this really end? Are you kidding me? Things have to change, and it's not changing fast enough. Guests should environment and.
So what should
I hope you can still hear me.
I can still hear you. It's just like I said, there is a delay after you speak. But I just want to say what can we do, or what did you advise for these hotels to do? I mean, where does this end? Meaning, if they're not taking care of the hotels, where does it end, and where does someone else jump in and say, hey, you're right, these hotels are filthy. We need to do this. We need to do that. At what point does that happen, or does it happen during these hotels, during these visits that you have?
It's a great question. I'm not quite, it's like a pair of shoes. You wear it, it gets dull. I always have a clean pair of shoes. I don't want dust on my shoes. It's the same thing when I leave the environment. It gets dusty again. You know, both these properties. Let's take the one in Buffalo. The first order of business was to start to slowly shut the operation. Hundreds and rooms that are beyond nasty. What they need start closing on floors. They're going to closing down. They're going to need to bring in a team. You need carpet cleaners, upholstery cleaners, and drapery cleaners. You need to have engineering in there changing out the AC filters that haven't been changed out in 13 months. You need to basically overhaul the full cleaning of the entire suite or unit, the 200 square feet, and then start instead of proceeding these communication with your team, smile, the whole formula. It's not rocket science, as you know and I know, but these properties need to start closing down. How can you put a guest in a room where the carpets haven't been cleaned in 7 years, let alone the upholstery or the drapes, and the AC filter is sitting there oozing with black stuff and dust everywhere, and you can smell it as soon as you walk in the room? You need to start closing down the rooms and clean the rooms. You need to put proper mattress protectors on the ones that, you know, I took a property and was in very bad shape, and they said 100 product, like hours we bought the process and paint the rooms, you know. So we painted the rooms. On Sundays we would strip the rooms. I'd have a full team stripping a whole floor, TVs, amenities, everything would come out of the rooms. We would have painters in. After the painters were in, we have engineers and maintenance people behind them, fix everything that's in the rooms. Behind them, deep cleaning with the housekeepers, showing them what deep cleaning really, you know, we're talking about needs and them laying on their stomachs and doing things that they're not normally going to do. But I would make sure that I kept them laughing and kept them on board and promised them that we need to do this exercise to have a winning property. And they were well compensated at the end. But that property, when I started, was number 21 out of 81. And now they're number 7. And based on the roadmap and the deliverables provided, 9 months in the air 81 hotels because they followed direction and they wanted to do it right. It's about leadership. It's about general management. It's about the asset management company. You've got to have the right housekeeping team. Housekeepers very poorly. You know, you know, why would general manage somebody in front of a guest housekeeper and say, if you don't like it, there's the door. Your ass is you know what. I mean, you can't talk like that in the environment. These people are just as important as you as a leader guiding the ship. Period. They should be guiding the ship, not the GMs in many of these hotels. Let me tell you that. I love housekeepers to no end. I'm a big advocate of housekeepers. I will 24/7, 365. I applaud and I thank them 365. When I was a GM for 7 years, I had zero turnover because I thanked them for the day prior. I thanked them from when they arrived. I thanked them for what they're going to do. And I thanked them when they left the property, 365. And they never left. They stayed on board with me for 7 years until I went solo.
Wow, that's great. That's one thing I've learned from you, is that
you there, Russell? We got communication.
No, we're still going. We're still good. We're still good. I was just making a comment on what you just said, and I think it's important that we thank people. We can never overthank people, right? I mean, we think because we mentioned something and we're gracious that they did one thing that we thank them, and oh, that's enough thanks for for the day, right? But you thank them day in and day out, several times a day, and I think that's important because, and especially in the climate for today where we have a hard time finding employees and keeping employees. I get these calls all the time from my former housekeeping colleagues that managers or directors or whatever their titles are. They always say, "Hey, we hired 3 people today. Okay, I talked to her at the end of the week. Those 2 people left." So I mean, we have to continue thank these people, continue to lift people up, continue to praise them, because people are leaving, and why are they leaving? I mean, I think they're leaving because they're just not appreciated enough. So, can you overthink someone? I don't think so, and I learned that from you.
Nope. I'm going to thank them so much that they're going to want to be there because they're going to want to hear thank you. You know, housekeeping starts with smiles, good morning, or when the communicate you and thank you for showing up. You know, ROI, rate of investment on your team. Thank you, not just thanking your team. You know, on a rewards program for the best presented housekeeping cart monthly, a rewards program for showing up on time, working, leaving of once every pizza you have Taco Tuesday, well, it's Pizza Thursday. There are things to do to make their job a lot more fun. It's like housekeeping tips. The more the cleanliness, safety, and presentation, even if you can't leave a housekeeping envelope in a room because some brand properties don't allow it, trust me that if that person goes into the room and sees that, that is almost beyond spotless, like beyond spotless, they're going to leave a tip for that housekeeper. Now, when the room is not properly, because there are people to clean at the rooms, I'm like, these rooms should be shut down. They shouldn't even be sold to a guest, and you're training new people to do it. You know, ROI on your team, communication and training is so key. And it's not just one day training, it's daily training, 365. You're going to learn something new each and every day. That new, I beyond even noted, it's just I'm trained, so I'm self-trained, from the top down to see these things and to understand these things and to smell these things. Owning a cleaning company in Canada, from carpets, drapes, upholstery, bedspreads, linen, firework, floodwork, removal of hazardous waste, has taught me a lot to bring into the industry. There's not many DMs that have been in that field to understand that field, let alone, what drives me crazy is all these hotels I go to, the carpets in the corridor, the carpets in the rooms, they have carpet equipment sitting down below in the back of the house, sitting there years full of dust, never used. The wheels are squeaky. Well, why doesn't anyone want to take them out? For me, I'd sooner take a carpet cleaning machine out than a Lamborghini, because I was behind them for 24 years. I get excited to get behind a good machine. They've got to start having better communication and training, and it starts from the leadership, the property management companies and the GMs, and work your way down. They've got to start, because there's just too many properties that are suffering today. And when you suffer, your ADR is terrible. Your reviews are terrible. You have no awards, so you have no bragging rights, as you know.
Yes, I agree 100%. Now, how do they find you? Okay, you go in and assess a property. Who reaches out to you? Is it the ownership group? Is it the asset group? Is it the management company? How do they find you to go in and assess the property?
A lot of it's word of mouth. For example, down in Pennsylvania, I was referred to by a client. And what I love about the brand is management company obviously has to run it. Owner was really wanted to be in bed with the management company. They didn't like it. He really wanted to see his property survive and succeed. And he said to the management, when I met him in Pennsylvania, we had never met, and we met. I went in 24 hours undercover. And the following day, we met in the lobby and went for dinner with a lot of different executives through Hilton. And he said to me at the restaurant, I hope you're going to be kind about my property. I said, I'm going to be very kind. I said, it's one of the dirtiest, nastiest properties I've walked into. If my wife was with me, we would have to leave. He got out of his chair like a bat out of you know what, called the management company, and was on about the management, and asked me what I management company about 3 weeks. I said, if I own this property, they wouldn't be running this hotel, because you should have never gotten this condition. Make a long story short, chief engineering, director of housekeeping, GM, all those people were let go to include the asset management company. Now he's in a new direction to the better. But people find me through word of mouth, and different. It's problems. Hotel suffering. You're embarrassed that it got that way. So they're hesitant to want to do something or make the call. A lot of times they're embarrassed. They really are embarrassed. But once you see a fix, and I mean, I give you the roadmap. Not many people build a visual roadmap, so you can't fail. As an owner selling a property, I sell it to Russell of Hotels. You're not going to fail because you have the deliverables. You have the roadmap. Monthly, every year. You have the roadmap. Follow that seed. No properties have visual roadmaps or a roadmap. They hire a housekeeper. They said good morning. Someone trains her for a half an hour and says, "Here, I'm giving you 20 rooms. Have a good day." Like she's going to clean 20 rooms successfully with no training and proper communication with someone in the environment. It's not working. So, my goal is to take each property, be number one. I want to be not in the hotel space. If I the hotel and there, either don't deviate it and go down to 2 and 3 and 4. Think outside the box. How are you winning? What are you doing in the surrounding area that's different from the next property? As you know, branding the property, sales of the property, the people involved in the property. It's all about the guest. We're there for the guest. We're creating moments and earning memories 365. I tell the housekeeping team, pretend you're the guest. Two things when they check into they use the facility below that you can stand up, lay on the bed and go, "Wow, arrived." Well, guess what? Act as if you're the guest. Look at things they see. You don't want them to call the lobby making a complaint. The only time they call the lobby or go down to the lobby is if they want a dinner recommendation. They should never go down with a complaint. I took a property in Florida out of construction to be in the top 61 out of 3,200 hotels in the state of Florida because I worked as hard as I could because it was all about the guest and the experience, cleanliness, safety, and presentation. Great housekeeping team, great communication, great bonding, and just doing it 365 and never deviating. And having the tools and supplies needed. I hope Dylan Beaumont's on the show today. He sent me something yesterday. Like he wanted to talk about teleplates and how in particular the phone. I'm at 96 phones beyond filthy. I'm like, how is it they even get to that point? And I know, but they should never get there. That's a standard of procedure. That's a touch point. All phones in guest rooms should be cleaned and sanitized, sterilized. I don't want to pick up a phone and see someone's last night's pepperoni sitting on the voice piece. Like you mean it for the win. That's why we do what we do. And when they do they want a job, but they need the tools to do it. As Dylan Beaumont, who's been on your show many, many times, he's a great general manager, and his team is an award-winning team because he cares about his hotel, and he cares about his team, and he has an ROI on his team, and he will get them the tools that they need to succeed. That's why he's successful in the environment in Eugene, Oregon.
I agree with that. Yeah, Dylan is actually on. Dylan made a couple comments. He said, let me see, what did Dylan say? Mattress protectors are a must. Encasements can save your hotel from infestation, not just beds, but sofa sleepers too. He also said, Lonnie is accurate. Your eyes become trained for how things should appear, and you'll spot deficiencies with ease the more you practice room checks, property walks, etc. He said good vibes, and he also said you have to give your team the tools they need. Yeah, I mean all those things are you're hitting it head on. Dylan's hitting it head on. Dylan's living it as a general manager every single day, 24/7. I know how he operates. I don't even have to go to Dylan's hotel, but I know because I see things on social media. I see that, he's an award, like you said, he's an award-winning hotel, especially from the housekeeping perspective. And I just know how he talks. Right? I know he talks a good game, right? So I can't wait to go there one day and check out his hotel. But yeah, he has the same. We're all three the same when it comes to housekeeping and things that we look for. But let me just ask you this, though. Let me ask you this. Now, housekeeping, okay, I understand housekeeping department, but the engineering department has to work closely with housekeeping as well, because it won't work if things aren't getting repaired in those rooms either. Am I right?
Absolutely, 100%. Housekeeping and engineering have to be a marriage. Period. There's no ands, ifs, or buts. As an example, you know how many hotels I go to, and you've got 15 housekeepers sharing 3 vacuums. Well, where's well, why are they broken? How no one's fixed them? Does anyone speak to engineering? Does anyone know how to fix them? No. There's no communication. First order of business is make a marriage with engineering. You're going to drop off the vacuums every day that are broken. You're going to label them. What's the matter with them? You're going to leave them outside of engineering, and they're going to fix it. If they can't fix it, then you go and get a new one. End of story. But you can't run a hotel without engineering. You can't put a guest in a room where you see the filter in the ceiling that's half and it's filled. Don't sell the engineering up there. Work with engineering. It's very important. It isn't the light. Get a light bulb. Keep them on your cart to save. It's a waste of time to keep having engineering go to a room. Keep the light bulbs on your cart. Dissect, trial and error. Is it the plug? Is it feedable to it? Is it the light bulb? If you can fix it, great. If not, work with engineering. Engineering plays a really big role in the room. Is it the housekeepers or engineering cleaning the carpets if they're on site? It's the engineering. Do you have enough staff in engineering? Does engineering have visual roadmap? So work is percent key in 365. A lot of them work in the evenings, sit behind a desk and they're playing games or they're looking at Facebook. There's plenty to do. Put your phone somewhere. If you work for me, then you're not going to look at your phone unless it's an emergency. The only time you look at your phone is if you're a doctor and you're on call, then you're not working in the environment, right? So yes, engineering is key. Big time.
Yes, thank you.
Something Dylan Bone said, mentioned, mattress, bed, another incentive. Bed bugs are bad for 2022 around the United States at present. So there's an influx of them throughout the United States at properties. And they come from suitcases, they come from a backpack, wherever, and they enter the room, and you know where they go in the crevices of the bed and the mattress protectors or the headboards. The mattress train the housekeepers to lift the corners of the mattresses and pull off the sheets. Look in the crevices. If they see a bed bug, report it. Bed bug, they get a $25 because we can work to getting it fixed before the guest gets bitten or look for blood stains on the bed. There are ways you can go forward with bed bugs, and I want to thank Dylan for bringing it up.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. Because a lot of
when
people,
you put a hotel room out of service because of bed bugs, or you get those reviews.
you can keep going. Are you there?
No, a lot of people. When you have bad reviews, it's not going to help you if you have a property full of bed bugs, let alone all the other dirt that's there, period. Here, for those that are listening, I hope there's a class of people listening. The number one word in hotel space is take care of guests. You're too busy. Reposition, hand for your hotel. You want to see the training in action. Hold your staff accountable. No excuses. Let's get it done. and have sign-in accountability sheets in public places, such as the restrooms in the lobby, um, bathrooms, different places that people sign in. Why should a bathroom 24 hours later still have wasn't flushed? I can go to a bathroom at a property. Someone's accountable. Accountable. I said they're spotless. They're there for a reason, be corporate or personal.
Yes, 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 yes. We have just so you know, I'm not sure if you know, but there's a really delay on what you're saying. So I just want to let you know that. But Dylan made a couple of comments, a couple more comments. He said, "Love it. The best engineers have a penchant for good cleaning. They apply clean caulking, and they want to stay that way. They apply vivid paints and want them to stay that way." Yeah, if you have a good engineering team. Okay, so I'm gonna say this real quick. I consult with a couple people in housekeeping. They call me to ask me questions about different things, and one of the issues at this particular hotel is not all the housekeeping department, it's engineering, meaning the engineers are not up to par. They have tons of engineers there, but they're not holding their weight. They're not carrying their weight. So when issues come up in the room, guess who they blame? They always blame the housekeepers. They don't blame the engineer for not fixing it. So I said, well, make sure, are you doing what do you call them? What is it called when you dang, I can't even put it. The when you're putting the reports, what is the report called when you if there's a deficiency in a room, you fill out something, you give part of it to the engineer, you keep the other part. What is it called? I can't think of what it's called.
There's different names for that. It could be an engineering
Work
quality
order.
report.
Work
There's
order.
different names for it, or just communicate that you work order. Correct. Thank you. We both got stumped. Correct.
Yeah. So
You
I
know,
said,
the other thing for those listening on the show, can do thing on the show is through AHO, the Asian American Hotel Association. You sign up and take a training in hotel sanitization and cleaning by just clicking on through Procter and Gamble, and if you pass the course, you will get a certificate, and it teaches you all the cleaning tricks and trades of keeping a great environment and guest retention, and talking about guest and and our team. So you can get that through Procter and Gamble through the cleaning and sanitation course. For anyone listening, you can have your team do that. It's like, I'm not sure what it's like in California or in Eugene, Oregon, but I know in different parts of the United States, within 60 days, within 60 or 90 days, your hotel, your staff have to take the human trafficking course. For example, in Florida, if your staff doesn't take the human trafficking course and they come in day number 94, you'll be fined per day thing in your environment. Take the course, understanding it, because human trafficking is a big thing today throughout the United States. It's very big in Texas and in the state of Florida and different locations within the USA. So if your state where you are needs you to take the course, please take the course. It's insightful. You'll learn a lot.
that's a real good point. That is a real good point, Lonnie. Thanks for bringing that up.
From it.
Yeah.
So you'll gain your if you the other thing that before COVID, I don't even want to talk about COVID, is that people were putting Kleenex, nice flowers in Kleenex boxes. It's a great looking presentation. Now you don't want to do it because it's a touch point. If someone has presented a nice flower and I'm going to take a Kleenex, I'm going to take it out. As an example, on a 400-room hotel at a 75% occupancy, you're wasting almost 110,000 individual Kleenexes per year. And based on what the count is in the Kleenex box, you can save the hotel between $2,500 and $4,000 a year by just eliminating Kleenexes, because that's a touch point. People aren't going to, it's nice to see, but now people aren't interested in it because they're going to look at it and go, very nice, but they're going to throw it in the garbage. Things that I do in a hotel room, I make sure there's 3 bags in a all garbage cans. Daily housekeeping up is not standard right now in a lot of hotels. So I don't want to have to lobby because I need another bag. The state of Florida, anywhere, I always make sure the toilet seats are down. A, presentation, and B, in Florida, snakes are known to coil inside the cavity of a toilet and sneak their way out. If the toilet seat is down, they cannot do that. If you lift the toilet seat and they come out, obviously you're going to report it. You want to keep another thing I teach the housekeeping team, even engineering, is why do I need to go to a hotel and your occupancy is what it's at, but you're keeping the AC at 70? It doesn't need to be the amount of money between 72. This is significant. Plug in your hair dryers. Plug in your irons. If you have an iron in the, well, they all have irons in their rooms. You want to make sure they're working. Is the base of the iron rusted? You want to check for those things. The lampshades. What direction are the switches of the lampshades? Why should I have to get a kink in my neck because I got a stretch that it's facing the wrong direction? They should be closest to the bed, facing the bed. Check the TV. Check the electrical. Check the, every dust. Period. Lampshade. Redheads and with gray hair and blonde. I see that on a lampshade. Wipe them down every day. Someone was in the room, combing their hair, you want to clean it like you mean it and go for the win. These, there's many things a hotel can do. It's what happens in back of the house. Do the floors have linen on each floor? If you got 10 floors, if one has a 10-floor property, is there linen on each floor? Is supplied each floor so the housekeeper doesn't have to waste time going back of the house, downstairs, wasting time to get it. Every floor should have a perfect linen closet. It's like going shopping. I need amenities. I need a new iron. I need more product. I need toilet paper, Kleenex, whatever it is. It's there on the floor at all times. And that's the responsibility of the houseman to stock those floors and make sure you have inventory count and have a perfect back of the house. I always have a rule called the director of house supervisor did not check the room. I've left the room. Item my bathroom floor, and I excuse myself. It's going to be dry very shortly. I'm going to go back in that room after I've the next room, which is usually on the same corridor, and I'm going to double check: is the AC at a set temperature? Is the bed free of lint and no stains on the sheets? Is place, are towels in place? For me, if I have a 400-room hotel, a perfect room presentation. So if I go in 400 rooms, the Kleenex box is going to be in the same direction. The towels are going to face the same direction. It's the same thing with the handicap rules. Not rules, but presentation. Everything has to be consistent. I don't want to go to a room and see it facing the wrong direction. It should be the same. As I mentioned with linen, on the linen on the beds, this is a nice little tool here, which is checks for stains on the sheets. You may see, but I recommend all having sheets, and this works. The other thing that I love to do is check air quality of these rooms. What's the air quality of the rooms? It should be 0 to 50 is great. Anything from 50 to 100 is good. And then you get rooms that are way off the chart, 12, 50, and 100. Close them down. They shouldn't even be like that. And you can get it, you can call the dials air quality machine. Check the air quality. It tells you something. It tells you the floors are dirty. It tells you the carpets are clean, the draperies, the upholstery. The other thing that you can also check out is those connecting rooms. Okay, so, Russell, you're in room A, I'm in room B. They're connecting doors. How often does the housekeeper open the connecting door to see what's living behind it? How much dust is behind it? What did someone leave behind it as a gift? These are other areas that I check.
Yeah, you're hitting it all today, Lonnie. You're hitting it all. Hey, what do you think? What do you recommend every hotel has from a housekeeping perspective? I mean, you mentioned the light that you have. You mentioned the. I'm not sure if they still call the ozone machine or whatever. It does the air quality. What do you recommend each housekeeping department has and utilize on a daily basis?
Well, you want to have the ozone machines, period, because if you're in most hotels are non-smoking, should be non-smoking. Even though guests do it, they can get fined for it if you have it, stated in the room on the mirror. It says a $250 fine is applicable if you smoke. You need to scare the guests from not doing such. And if they do it, they're charged. Depending on the size of the property, you need to have not one, but you need many of those ozone machines remove odor. Some hotels, like a Residence Inn, will have kitchenettes. So, imagine someone that's just cooked lobster or fish, and it's just it can be a nasty, strong odor. You need the ozone machine in there. Or some of these extended stay properties are close to a hospital, and you get people that have had surgery. You have older people die. The corridor is vicious or the room is vicious with it's very pungent. You need the equipment. So you need ozone equipment. You need this to check the lint. You need the special light for checking the stains on the bed. You want air quality machines to test the air quality of the equipment. You want to make sure your vacuums are like Cadillacs. They work. They're not just sucking air, but the rollers work. The function order. You want to have a, like we've talked about, uh, dusters to reach high point. I don't want to hear that you didn't get there. I want to know that you got there because you have the tools. And here's the deal in housekeeping. If you don't have it, we're going to get it. Speak up. Don't be silenced. Whatever you need. That's why daily communication in the morning before we start the show is key, because just speaking, I want the team to speak. I want to know what you need. I want to know how your day was. I want to know everything that you didn't have. And that's not going to be in my environment, because I'm going to make sure you have every tool possible. Do we have a carpet cleaning machine that works? Everyone needs to understand how housekeeping works, even the first. But really, I challenge manager today, take off the jacket and go start learning housekeeping, because guess what? It's the heartbeat within your hotel. Without housekeepers, no heads in beds, or you're going to have heads in beds complaining right, left, and center. They need to understand it. You understand it. I understand it. And Mr. D. Bowman understands it, and many others do, but many more don't. And, if you have the right tools in place, you know, there was a thing on LinkedIn not long ago where they gave a housekeeper 50 rooms. And I'm like, it's impossible to clean 50 rooms, because I look at what time is checkout, what time is check-in, what's the window of opportunity to do it, how much is their lunch break, do they get a 15-minute break? It's impossible to do it. The penthouse, the one bedroom, two bedroom, and I'll watch you, I'll video you, I'll do all the housekeeper, but I'll do all the above. I'll make sure your environment is done per theme song. It could be, Rocky, but I'll always play a theme song to get you pumped, ready to go for the day.
You know what? I need to come to a hotel where you're doing where you're working, because I need to see all this. I need to hear that theme song playing. That would be a blast. But okay. I mean, I love everything you said. Everything just hit, and it's funny because it hits home, because I mean, although I started in housekeeping years and years ago, some of the stuff that you hit on, it just basically brought back memories of when I was being taught and when I was being trained in housekeeping. All the things that you, not everything, but a lot of the things, the core things that you talked about, I remember from back then. So housekeeping doesn't go out of style. You know what I mean? We still need to clean rooms. We still need to be diligent about what we do. So a lot of people would think that, it goes out of style, or, or things have changed and we don't do it like that anymore. No, that's BS. We still got to clean the rooms, right? And you're just attesting, you just basically co-sign everything that I've thought, and a lot of things Dylan had already said. And then I'm sure other people that will listen to this as well, they will say, you know what, Lonnie's right on. We need to take off our jackets, right, and get to work, because we spend so much time on, we hire these GMs that have, oh, well, does he have food and beverage experience? Does he have all this other experience? But they very seldom look at, okay, do they have an operational experience that includes housekeeping? Because that's where the money is made. Money is made in the rooms. Let's just throw it out there. Money is made in the rooms. It's not made in food and beverage. Okay, so we need to pay more attention to the money maker, and that's the housekeeping department. That's the heart of the house.
100%. My other big peeve is the cross contamination. Make sure your team is not taking the same rag that you cleaned suite number one in suite number two. You want to have a great supply of proper, professional, cleaned rags for the next room. You don't want, it's like the mop heads, you're taking it from a dirty room to the next. You're just doing cross contamination. We didn't talk about back of the house. Why is it when I go to a property, every door is full of dirt, mold, nastiness, and the stairwells look like no one's ever walked them? You need to walk your property, back of the house, front of the house, exterior, interior, your roof line. Go anywhere and everywhere, because where you didn't go, there could be a problem that's right there. I go stairwells. I'll walk stairwells. People don't get used to A, they have elevators. B, they want to exercise, run up and down. Well, you wouldn't, but what's back in some of these stairwells: amenities and Q-tips and bottles of champagne and cigarettes and things that shouldn't be there. And guests don't need to see that. That's another thing, is clean back the house. That's the houseman's duties. And that's, I have a standard of procedure, daily, weekly, monthly, every 6 months, for engineering, housekeeping. So it's there for you. When you hire a housekeeper, I also want you to have a big screen TV in your back of the house office, so that new housekeeper that's come in that didn't get the great training, she's going to see a slideshow of a perfect room presentation. She goes, wow, that's how it's done, because it's there. Sees it during AM meetings. A lot of things you can, because your goal is to have a team, award-winning team, a team that loves to be there. You don't want them going down the street for 50 cents or $1. You need to keep your team. You need longevity. The tools, the training, the communication, and a big, big thank you for showing up and doing a phenomenal job. See you tomorrow.
24/7, 365. I appreciate that, Lonnie. That was great. That was great. So we're almost out of time. We got about 6 minutes left. Hey, how they get a hold of you? Because I would guess your dance card is probably full, but how would they get a hold of you?
Lonny Wolfe at the Art of Housekeeping, or follow me on LinkedIn. See me on LinkedIn, because I'm thanking you every day on LinkedIn. It worked. Different shows and work. It's you serve. I'll try to get it's not a dating service. It's a professional platform for those that use it properly, and it works. It works great. I found you, a lot of other people, all these professionals, Jordan, and as a matter of fact, Russell, I'm meeting with Stephanie, that you had on your podcast on Thursday.
Oh, okay. Stephanie Carradine? Stephanie Carradine. Okay. Very good. Very good.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said,
So she's down in Dade County, and I'm up here.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Make sure you tell her I said hello.
I will. Last week, you mentioned, I'm not sure if Dylan Beaumont was involved, but last week I didn't get back to your show. You had brought up something where you talked about Marlon Brando. Am I correct? He came up for a moment. You brought up Marlon Brando, something to do, it was in there. I have to go back to the clip, but it was something funny someone brought up, and it was a Marlon Brando moment. I think it came from Dylan Beaumont.
It had to come from him. I don't think it came from me. Dylan, do you
Do
remember
you
the
remember?
Marlon Brando? He's still on here. Do you remember the
Well,
Marlon Brando reference,
well,
Dylan?
or we'll have to go back to the clip. There's a reason why I brought it up because we had a great talk, we had a great show. So I'll give you one of my other hidden talents. I'm listening to the Russell of dinner for my Marlon Brando imitation. Good job, old boy.
Why? Thank you, but thank you so much. Do you know The Godfather is like my favorite? The Godfather 1 and 2 are my favorite movies of all time. Okay, so Marlon Brando definitely. Yeah, that was good. I appreciate that. But hey, thank you so much for coming on. We got 3 minutes left. I appreciate you coming on.
I will.
Hmm? Go ahead.
I love using, I'm great. I can do voices and I enjoy doing it with the housekeeping team and they get a good laugh out of it when I do it. And if I can get laughter out of the team the goal in housekeeping is we have to end the day every day victoriously. We cannot go any other way. We must end victoriously with a win because it's all about the guest, creating moments and earning memories. There you go.
I agree. I agree. Well,
And
with
clean it
that,
like you mean it.
all right, clean it like you mean it. Well, we're going to end the show right there. Thank you so much, Lonny, for coming on, for giving us your wisdom in housekeeping. We do appreciate everything. To the people that are listening, I know it was a little glitchy at times, but go back and listen to it because there's a lot of good information. And Lonny did bring the fire. He said he was gonna make it lit, and he definitely did make it lit. But definitely go back and listen and get some points off of this thing because there's a lot of things that we should be looking at as hoteliers. It's not like, and it goes back to how he started the whole interview. He said it's not just housekeeping's job to keep the hotel clean, right? So if you see something, you need to make sure you mention it. You need to make sure you take care of that situation, whatever it is. And I'm speaking cleanliness. From the parking lot to inside the hotel. It starts at the parking lot. So if the parking lot is dirty, the hotel is going to be dirty. Okay, so that's how I look at it, right? So the parking lot is an indicator of what I have to look forward to when I walk in the door. So just make sure that we're doing everything we can. And if we need some help with housekeeping, we know we got Lonny Wolfe to call, right? So follow him on LinkedIn. Make sure you look at all the things that he does on LinkedIn. That's how I found him. And we've been, having this great relationship ever since. And it's been now going on a couple of years now. So the same with Dylan as well. So they're great people. They have a lot of information, a lot of wealth of information. And it's there if you just listen and just ask, right? So thank you so much, Dylan, for coming on. Appreciate it. I'm not sure if he's still there. Are you still there? Maybe not.
And so on She, you have done a phenomenal job reaching that milestone.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So, all right, you guys have a great week. Once again, Russell of Hotels, we're about to sign off. Thank you so much for joining. I do appreciate, like I said, I appreciate Lonny for being on. I appreciate Dylan for the comments. I appreciate everyone that's listening, and we'll listen on the replay. Like I said, I do apologize for some of the glitchiness. We just got a bad connection over in Florida. They've been dealing with a lot of issues, so we got to give them a pass for that, right? But definitely go back and listen to some of the finer points that Lonnie makes, because it all come back to you, and you'll say like, yeah, those are things I need to do. I need to make sure my hotel is doing certain things, or just a different set of eyes sometimes helps out a lot too. You bring someone in just to kind of consult and like look at certain things in your hotel, and they'll be able to pull some things out that maybe you didn't even see. You know what I mean? So if we get used to looking at the same things over and over again, we don't realize that certain things are clean or dirty. Just like he mentioned, the connecting door. How often does that connecting door open? How often do we open that and clean around the door frame? And I guarantee you it's dusty. More than likely it is dusty. So make sure we take care of that stuff. So with that being said, do you have one more thing to say, Dylan, Lonnie, before I get off?
Yeah, don't forget those listening. It's important to, it's LFG track. Look there. I got a full list to anybody and everyone at any time. And great job and to show number 180 and visibility. What people see you doing 365, 20%.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels. Please tune in every Tuesday at 1 p.m. as we talk to other hospitality professionals. Your feedback is important to Russell. Feel free to email him at russell@russellofhotels.com with any questions or suggestions. Until next time, try not to be a person of success, rather become a person of great value.